came up with this brilliant idea where I'm trying to make sure that I have the proper clearance and whatnot for the intake manifold. So what I did was I set the motor in place, put the hood back on, and then built like a styrofoam frame, covered the motor in plastic, and then filled it with expanding foam, closed the hood. In theory, that should give you the exact size of the space that you have. One thing I didn't plan for was the amount of expansion. So if you're gonna do this, it did work. It worked really well. I don't know what the end product is yet, but I'm sure you guys won't have to wait as long as I will to see it. But anyways, rate of expansion. You don't need as much as you think you do. And also, you need more plastic than you think you do. Because I made a mess. So, hood's on it. Put weights. So, it spilled a little bit. All over the valve cover. I don't know the extent yet. But I should have put more plastic down. So, you live, you learn. All right. So this is the result. Obviously it made a mess. I already peeled the plastic off. It's in the garbage. The top's not smooth because I didn't think about it, but this stuff needs air contact to expand, and the plastic being up here and then pressing against it kept it in a liquid form. So I had to peel the plastic off before it would expand, hence the ugliness. I already broke this loose. Didn't come out as bad as I thought it was gonna end up being. For the main part, like the big piece, I use this stuff. It's for doing fence posts. It's like 10 bucks a bag, but you don't really have a lot of time to work with it, but it expands like crazy. This is a little bit obviously taller because it expanded more once the hood was up, but let's see if I can get it to mostly close. Let's sit this down. So, on this side, it's not really up. Hood latches. This side you can kind of hear. And you can see the pressure from it pushing it up because that's not tight. But we'll shape it. As always, the plan was to shave it down and see what comes out of it. We'll update whenever I have something. Alright, so that's what it looks like off the car. The plastic off of it. Kind of funny, you can see where the brake lines ran. Then where the plastic went up over the lip. I broke some of the foam off already, but see where the fuel rails were, the lower part, where it sat over the valve covers on both sides and the oil filler. So I'm gonna do a quick shape on this. After some shaving and cutting, that's the rough. This stuff is not at all a pain in the ass to deal with. So, yeah. Definitely do it inside where there's not wind, because the shit gets everywhere. You can hear it under my feet. I tried this thing. I'll put a picture in of a little 3D CAD thing that I did in Tinkercad while I wasn't busy one day. But I don't really, it had tubes coming off there and kind of laid it over on the side, but I don't think it's gonna end up looking good. So I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with shaping this and see what comes out of it. Okay, so quick update. I'm not gonna bore you guys with 17 hours worth of time lapse, but this is that same manifold, just covered in Bondo now. It's very messy, very time consuming. You can see I've already cleaned up some. It's even using It's even using power tools. I got about 3 days worth of work in this. I promise it'll all make sense in the end, but I will update whenever I'm at the next stage. Quick update. It's the general position that I'm at now. I'm gonna put an aluminum block on the back here for all of my vacuum ports. Still the same thing. I just painted it black so that I could see all the little tiny holes and see if there's any waviness or anything like that. But it doesn't look half bad on there, I will say myself. I'm not gonna bore with another 45 minutes of time-lapse stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this out and get it in primer. And I mean, it's black so that I can see all the imperfections and waviness, but I need to get it in primer so that I can get it in gel coat. Okay, that's the final product. I have to figure out how I'm gonna do my window so that I can bolt it down. That's the upper part. Yes, that's there on purpose. There was divots and low spots. This all has to be blocked and wet sanded and properly gone over and buffed, and has to be perfect because I'm going to be pulling a mold off of this. It's going to be a very complex mold. Once I have my final product, I'll do aluminum back here for ports for vacuum lines, blow-off valve, brake booster, stuff like that. Obviously, throttle body goes here. That is the completed design. I'll probably end up wet sanding it down, or I'll probably end up sanding it down, and then I'll end up doing another coat, and then I'll end up wet sanding that coat. Alright, we're gonna switch gears for a few minutes because I got waiting on more gel coat, different kind. So we're gonna make sway bar mounts because this car was rusty in the front and they're gone. Plus, you know, has to be lower. So I got a bunch of steel, some really thick stuff right there. Some more over here on the ground. So we're gonna make some mounts out of them.
precision bending. Good enough.
It's what I made, or that's the idea. There'll be one on each side. It's got this thick bottom plate, thinner but still very thick side plates. I'm gonna put gussets in the corners on both sides, but it has to be open in the middle because you gotta be able to get the bolt out. Yes, they still need a little bit of tweaking. It's all just tacked together, but it's the general idea. I'm gonna weld them out and update once I have something. I was gonna do gussets, but this shit is thick. Like, that is not a thin metal at all. So, I think it'll be okay. See, the camera won't focus that far back, but you can see that it has clearance for the bolt to get out. They're just tacked in there because I got the wheels and shit. I can't really get around it. I'm gonna tap this flush so it looks good and clean all that up in there, and all that'll get undercoated or rust preventative. And then it's gonna get bed linered, and then it's gonna get undercoated, and then it's gonna get painted. So I'm not worried about surface rust at the moment, but this is the other side. Same thing, there's bolts in it, but you can see there's plenty of room to get the upper control arm bolt out. If there's not, I'll drop the subframe, but this is a BMW oversized sway bar. It's got this drop down. That's why we need it, so that we can clear the oil drain and alternator brackets and crank pulley and all that stuff. It's very common with LS swaps and like 302 swaps and whatnot to clear the crank pulley. Plus it's a stiffer bar, and you can get them at the junkyard for like $35. So, oh, I need to get up. I was gonna go through the process of doing the mold for the intake manifold or making the intake manifold, and then doing the mold for the intake manifold, all included in this video. But it's taken so long, and the red car has been down for, I don't know, over a month now. And I got these expensive ass tires that I don't want them going bad. I got the other car sitting out in the rain, and like, I understand that it's gonna, oh Jesus, you can see where I hit myself with the TIG welder. I understand this car is gonna die, but it's like mismatched wheels, and it just, between the Bondo dust and everything, and you can't walk barely in here. And this is after I already cleaned up some. So what I'm gonna do is this is my plug for my intake manifold. It'll be a lot shorter. I just did it that tall so that I could make an oversized mold out of it, and then I can make oversized parts, and then I can trim the parts to the perfect size. Then I don't have to worry about adding to a part that I already made and it not looking right and whatnot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna leave it here, and because I still have to re-gel coat this, but you have to do gel coat with wax for your top coat for sanding, because the wax additive, which is not really a wax additive, it's a hardening additive. I didn't know any of this either. Basically, without the wax, you can't sand it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this. We're gonna jump ahead in time. I'm gonna take this car all the way back apart, the black car, pull the motor out, put everything back in the red car. That way I can drive the red car while I'm building the lower manifold for this car so that it clears the hood. And I still need to do like the frame rails, and I need to do the engine bay paint, and I need to do coolant pipe that goes here. I want to hide it, and it's all going to go behind a thing. I haven't quite figured out what yet, but it's all going to run down here. It's supposed to be hidden. My fuse panel is going to be here. I'm going to have AC. I need to bring lines out of over here for the heater, which you can't really see because I'm stupid. There we go. And then I want to build a catch can for this side, and I want to build a catch can for this side, and custom wiring, and a million other things. Basically, it's going to be 3-4 months before this black car is even close to being done. Which, the biggest thing that I'm waiting on is my fucking over fenders still haven't arrived. I don't know when they're gonna get here. I haven't got, all it says is shipped. So I heard that they take forever to ship, and I expected that, but I didn't expect it to be 3 months. So I'm gonna do everything with this car that I can do without the motor and the transmission and everything in it. I have all of the stuff on the front all mocked up. I'm pretty sure that I'm to a point now where I can pull this out and I can continue to move forward with this car without the motor. I guess whenever the next video comes out, this car will be completely disassembled. I'm not sure what the next video would be, but expect for some of the intake manifold stuff to be kind of dribbled in there. It takes so much time. Like, I have, God, the clips in this video alone, you'll see molds are not fast. So rather than delay the build any further as far as the YouTube side goes, you saw how I did this part. The lower part, here, I'll go grab it. That's gonna go there. There will be flat pieces that come off at the proper distance, and then I have to smooth all these edges, and then I have to do the same thing I did with that stupid ass thing, with this stupid thing, and then I have to make a mold off of that, and then we can finally get into what we're making it out of. What we're making this intake manifold out of is going to be pretty cool. It's my first time working with it, other than some light, like very small pieces. So it's going to be a learning experience, but we'll get to that one way later. But I'll tell you right now, all this is not for the intake manifold. It is for making plugs and molds so that we can make the intake manifold. It's going to be really cool.